time since 2011. There's the man himself, Paul George. Him and Kawhi Leonard have scored or assisted on 71% of the Clippers' points in this series. Kawhi Leonard averaging 30 points per game on 57% shooting in the series against the Dallas Mavericks. Life's a little different when you're not celebrating any longer, when those celebrations turn into expectations. And as a result, the world is watching with a skeptical eye. You're Kawhi Leonard. Suddenly, you're not the two-time NBA champion anymore with two-time NBA Finals MVPs. You're the dude getting smoked by Luka Doncic. You're the dude getting taken to school. You're the dude that was supposed to be the face, the new face of Los Angeles, the one wearing the crown. Nevertheless, you might be about to get bounced out in the first round yet again. Kawhi Leonard, you're on the clock. You watching. There's the man himself, Luka Doncic, averaging 35 this series, schooling the Los Angeles Clippers and way-reading the managers. It was the Luka Show in Game 5 Wednesday. He scored 42 points, one fewer than Kawhi Leonard and Paul George combined. He also made more shots and had more assists than the two of them as well. On the call for tonight's Game 6 between the Clippers and the Mavericks is analyst extraordinaire Jeff Van Gundy. Coach, welcome to the show. According to Elias, Doncic scored or assisted on 31 of the Mavericks' 37 field goals in Game 5. Why has this man been so dominant?
Well, he has the ball in his hands, and he's super skilled, and he's getting both points and assists. But truthfully, the problem for the Clippers in Game 5 was not their defense on Doncic. It was their offense. They missed far too many shots. Both Leonard and George did not dominate in that game offensively like we've seen when they've played on the road. And so to me, Doncic scored big, had an unbelievable game, but when you hold the Mavericks, who has such a potent offense, to 105 points, you have to win that game at home.
Coach Van Gundy, I will stand down with my basketball knowledge to you any day of the week, but I do need an explanation. Luka Doncic dropped 40 points in 3 quarters. How is that not an issue with the Clippers defense in any capacity?
Well, it's an issue, but it's not the issue. I think sometimes what we do is we conflate, like why you're losing with problems. And Luka Doncic has been a problem. I think what they did, though, do a good job is they guarded everyone else very well for the most part. I thought their bigger problems were offensively. Doncic was spectacular. But if you make a guy take 37 shots and you only allow him to get to the free throw line 3 times, you have done pretty well. 105 points against a very good Mavericks team, 41.5% shooting overall. That's something that you have to be able to score enough, and they didn't score enough, didn't play well enough offensively to win. I think they're going to bounce back and have a huge offensive game.
Wouldn't surprise me if they did that tonight. Game 7 would be another matter. Coach, last question real quickly. Utah Jazz is up next for the winner of this series. Who's the tougher opponent for the Utah Jazz in your estimation? Clippers or Mavs?
The Clippers. They're the most talented team in the Western Conference, and I don't think it's that close.
Coach, always appreciate you. Road team has won the first 5 games of this series. I'll keep that in mind. Coach Jeff Van Gundy, always appreciate your time, buddy. Thank you so much.
Everything that could possibly have gone wrong.
It was a horrible effort.
The Los Angeles Lakers were pathetic. They were soft. They were weak.
They pretty much just kicked our asses. I mean, there's nothing else really to say. It's been a roller coaster for us all year, especially with injuries.
LeBron and Anthony Davis out for the Lakers lost again.
How much ground do they lose come playoff time?
The Phoenix Suns have beaten the defending champion.
It's been mentally draining, spiritually, emotionally draining. And given everything we had up until this moment, time to think about what the offseason has in store.
The Lakers became the 6th defending champion to get knocked out in the first round under the current playoff format. The last time it happened was in 2015 when Chris Paul and the Clippers eliminated the San Antonio Spurs. After the game, LeBron was not that focused on an early playoff exit.
It doesn't matter to me as far as, not making it out of the first round. What matters to me is getting this team back healthy. Me not being able to be at my full strength throughout this series, that's my main focus. But, time to, readjust and think about what the offseason has in store.
Let's welcome in Basketball Hall of Famer himself, the one and only Michael Wilbon, and, of course, NBA champion Kendrick Perkins. Wilbon, I'll go to you first. How do you explain LeBron and the Lakers' early playoff exit, man?
Stephen, I mean, there's a pretty straight formula here. They ran into a team that it took us a long time to believe in the Phoenix Suns, a lot of people, not me specifically, but they ran into a really good team and they weren't whole. They weren't in a great place to get into a dogfight with that team. So with LeBron and AD, the two best players on the team by far, being injured, I kept telling you during the regular season, you can't just walk off the street and be a championship team. The Lakers weren't a championship team with those guys missing that many games. And you have the Phoenix Suns who had to survive a little bit there with Chris Paul's own injury. But the players like Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton, those guys were ready to be in that kind of dogfight and they prevailed. So we shouldn't be all that surprised.
Kendrick Perkins, being the contrarian you are, I imagine your answer is different than what Wilbon just gave to us. Give it to me. What happened with the Lakers?
It was the role players, right? You look at the role players from the Phoenix Suns, a young core, Cameron Payne, Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges. They elevated their game. And you look at a veteran group like Caldwell Pope, Dennis Schroeder, Wes Matthews, and Lord knows, don't get me started on Kyle Kuzma, who I had to send my kids upstairs because I didn't want them watching the game no more because I didn't want them picking up bad habits. Andre Drummond, right? Stephen A., I told you this earlier. He had a worldwide tour after he was released from the Cavs. He was a no-show. Role players help you win games in the playoffs, that help you win playoff series, that help you win championships. And they did not perform. LeBron James did what he could, but at the end of the day, this is a team sport, and you need guys to contribute outside of your superstars.
Wilbon, I'll go to you and then you, KP, follow up real quickly. How much of a threat is Devin Booker, CP3, and the Suns coming out of the West, particularly when Denver's up next?
Well, I mean, how much of a threat have they been all season? Once again, Stephen A., they're one game away from having the best record in the league this season, not the conference, the league. And they are. And especially if Chris Paul, has a couple of days to get that shoulder a little bit better. Look, his presence on the floor matters even when he can't produce the kind of numbers we're accustomed to. But they are a threat. And Devin Booker must feel freed up now. He had his first major big stage moment, and he was brilliant during it. And I think the Suns can probably play a little bit more freely, having gotten past the Lakers.
What about you, KP?
They're a serious threat, and I wouldn't be surprised if they make it to the finals. They have two closers in Chris Paul and Devin Booker. They have great role production by Jay Crowder, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, and Payne, and they're well coached. They're defensively sound. They're stars in their role, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Phoenix Suns come out of the Western Conference. I'm not picking them, but I wouldn't be surprised if they made it there.
You're not picking them, but you wouldn't be surprised. Wilbon, I don't know where he had them, but all of a sudden, they a big threat. I'm not letting you two get away with it. We're going to have a discussion. As this show progresses, we're going to have a discussion. We are going to have a discussion. Look at Mark Cuban out there. Listen, Mark Cuban. Look, he looks in good shape. Out there shooting. I don't know if I like his shot that much, but he certainly looked like he could shoot better than Kyle Kuzma at this particular moment in time. I'll give you that, KP. Still ahead. Luka's lights out performance as the Clippers on the brink of elimination.